Do you trust that they are not manipulating intelligence? Do you feel like you could take at face value what they are saying the intelligence is telling them?
Unfortunately, I don't trust a lot of that's coming out of this White House, which is why I am asking for a briefing. Listen, Congress is the only branch that has the ability to declare war. We deserve to get this information, and it really is very troubling to me that they say that where this information exists, we're pulling out our U.S. Personnel from our embassies. Our allies are not. So are you telling me that we're not sharing this important information with our allies, and we're leaving them in the lurch?
This item in the New York Times reporting that was in part about that partial embassy closure caught my eye. I wanted to get your reaction to it. One American official speaking on the condition of anonymity said the new intelligence of an increased Iranian threat was, quote, small stuff and did not merit the military planning being driven by Mr. Bolton. The official also said the ultimate goal of the year-long economic sanctions campaign by the Trump administration was to draw Iran into an armed conflict with the United States. Is that a legitimate objective of U.S. foreign policy?
Well, I don't think it's a legitimate objective at all, but do I think that that is the objective of Mr. Bolton? Yes.
But that just strikes me as manifestly wrong. I mean, it just should not be the case that any U.S. administration is trying to draw anyone into armed conflict.
I agree. That should not be the case. And in fact, only Congress has the ability to declare war. Let me stress that. And frankly, if such intelligence exists, then they need to brief the members of Congress. Listen, I've got a top secret clearance. I'm happy to go and listen to the intelligence estimates. I know that the president is not very keen on listening to intelligence briefings, but I am. I take my job very seriously. So come on, give me this briefing. And in a bipartisan way, the members here in the Senate have called for such a briefing, and yet we still have not received one.
You know, as someone who probably knows better than anyone serving in the United States Congress at this point, or as well as anyone in the United States Congress, what the realities of war look like, what do you think the odds are of some kind of military escalation right now? Do you trust the president to be judicious and even-tempered in this?
Well, of course, I don't think that the president has ever been described as even-tempered. I also don't trust Mr. Bolton. I think he's driving the train on this. I don't think Mr. Trump is, and it's sad because that's our commander-in-chief. I think Mr. Bolton is the one who is driving this escalation, and it frankly it is terrifying and deeply concerning to me that someone who's not elected by the American people is making these key decisions and pushing us towards greater and greater escalation. And again, if this truly exists, then share the information with the Senate. Let me see those estimates. And if they truly exist and there's a real threat, then why are you not sharing them with our allies who are in the region?
Final question. You talked about Congress being obviously the branch that declares war. We have seen Congress flex its muscle on this question with regards to Yemen, in which in bipartisan majorities in both houses passed a war powers resolution to direct the U.S. withdrawal from any involvement in that conflict. Do you think there would be similar votes to stop U.S. military conflict with Iran among your colleagues, particularly Republicans?
Especially if they don't, I do think that there could be a similar vote, especially if they do not share any credible estimates with us, any credible intelligence reports that show that there's an increased threat. If they can't produce anything, then yes, I think there could potentially be such a vote.
All right, Senator Tammy Duckworth of Illinois, thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me on, Chris.